Hi guys, so today's video is going to be about dissociation. This topic has been on my mind recently because I realized that it is starting to affect me in my adulthood. I know that a lot of people go through dissociation, and some people don't even know that that's what it's called. I know that I would constantly dissociate in certain situations, and I didn't even know that that was a thing. I didn't even know that it had a label. And so I actually seen that other people go through it, and I seen the label, which is called dissociation. And I was like, I didn't even know that I was doing this. And so now that I feel like I know what it is, I pay more attention to it, and I notice when I'm doing it. And I'm noticing the side effects of it, the negative side effects, because I feel like it'll make me forget certain things about my past or experiences. And I'm gonna dive a little more into that. I'm just gonna get straight into it. And here I have my little wine glass, and I'm going to be drinking some coconut water because I need my electrolytes. I'm gonna do a pour for you guys. I'm gonna do a little bit because I don't know. I started to notice that I would dissociate often, and it became constant. It became a constant response that I would resort to whenever I was going through something. When I was younger, I would go through traumatic events, experiences, and I would just be in scenarios that was very unpleasant, uncomfortable, and I would hate being there. And it was like I was not in control. I'm sorry, this is probably bothering you guys. Okay, so when I was younger, I would be in certain situations and I didn't want to feel in that moment. And it was like I wasn't in control, and I just hated not being in control. And so I would kind of just have to follow what my, I guess, guardians, where they were taking me. And this is no disrespect. This is not me trying to push a negative narrative on anyone, but there were certain places that I was, and I either shouldn't have been there, or I was just there and it was just very unpleasant for me. And so it came to a point where sometimes I would like cry, and I would just be really like crying hard, or I would be expressing myself, and it wasn't really paid attention to. It was just kind of like, I'm the adult and you're gonna stay here. You have to stay here. And it was like, it would get to the point where I was tired of trying to get the person to listen to me and just get me out of that uncomfortable situation. So I resorted to just dissociating without me even realizing what that was. And so the way that I would dissociate is that I would just listen to music, or I would just stay in my head. Like, I'm in my head a lot, and I realized that that can also be a reason why. And so I would kind of block out what was going on in my environment, and I would try to just stay in my head so that I wouldn't really remember where I was, or it just didn't really bother me. I am a very emotional person. As I'm getting older, I'm learning how to balance myself more and shut off my feelings more. And although it can be pros to it, it is also cons to it, because in certain scenarios where I need to feel or express my vulnerability, I feel like I'm not able to do it because I'm so used to just shutting off my feelings. I was an emotional child, and so when I would express myself, certain places that we were at, and when I say we, you're probably like, who is we? I'm just gonna say a guardian. So when we would be in these certain places, sometimes I would try to express myself emotionally wise, and there would be people around who would just kind of just be like, shut up, or it's not even funny, but it's just kind of like, dang. They would just tell me like I'm being a punk or I'm being weak. I would just kind of have to deal with it. They would call me sensitive and just say like I need to toughen up. So instead of me continuously expressing myself, I started to realize that it just didn't matter because nobody was listening anyway. I started to just shut up, and I started to deal with my emotions on my own. And I would just make like a system for myself to where, because I'm here physically and I don't want to be here, I put myself in my brain. As I got older, I eventually started to realize that this was a habit that I started to do. And I realized that it was becoming unhealthy because at times people would ask me about things in my past, like memories wise, and I would notice that I couldn't remember certain things. I noticed that people would ask me certain things about my childhood, They would ask me about memories, experiences, and I would start to think, and I'm like, I don't remember any of these things. And there would be my cousins, and they would be telling me, you don't remember this happening? And I would be like, I don't. And my mom would ask me, you don't remember this? And I just didn't. And so I actually realized that the reason why I didn't remember these events is because during those same times of those memories, I was also going through traumatic events. And in those events, I was dissociating. So I feel like I kind of dissociated majority of my childhood, and I don't remember certain things because I wanted my mind to forget other experiences, but it ended up forgetting all of them. Honestly, it's not even forgetting because I can't forget these things that have happened to me, but I kind of would push it to the back of my brain, and I don't want those memories really in my head anymore because it puts me in a certain state to where I feel triggered, and it's just a place where I don't want to be. So yeah, I started to notice that as I'm forgetting those memories, I'm forgetting the great memories as well. And I don't want that to be my life. Like, I don't want to forget memories and people ask me about things and I just don't even remember what happened. Now that I'm more aware of this, I want to start making myself be present because there are memories that I'm going to regret forgetting about. Although there are certain things that I've been through that I don't want to experience, I have to go through certain things. I have to feel. And it felt safe for me when I was a child, but as I'm getting older, it's no longer going to be safe all the time. It's going to become unhealthy. I know that if I don't make myself comfortable enough to feel, then I'll never learn how to deal with my emotions when I'm going through something unpleasant. Everything's not going to be pleasant, and I'm going to have to learn how to just sit there and figure out something else to do instead of forgetting the whole entire moment and putting my mind in a space where I'm blocking everything out. I don't have to block everything out in order to learn how to deal with unpleasant situations. Also, I would say too that at times I would have anxiety, especially around other people. I would have social anxiety, and so it stems to my childhood from when certain things would be pointed out with me. It would be people who act like they were my friends. It would be people who were just in school or wherever, and they just always had something to say because I had a different kind of style. And so when I would do the things that I enjoyed and I would express myself, my unique self, people would just always have something to say. And so because I felt like they will always decide to point me out, as I got older, I started to just always feel like I'm going to be pointed out. And so when I would be in social gatherings, like events and things like that, I would put on my earphones. This might sound crazy. When I say talk to myself, I don't mean like talk to myself out loud. I just mean like my mind has to be pointed to something else other than talking to people or like looking at what's going on, because then my anxiety will get even worse. And so what I would do is I would kind of like either hum so that I can focus on that humming, or I would just kind of like say little things to myself in my head. And this might sound crazy, but I don't care. I would do that to keep my focus off of everybody else, and instead I'll be in my head. I didn't even realize that when I'm doing this and I'm at these events, I should be experiencing these events. I should be present in these events. There will be things that happen somewhere, people are talking about it, I didn't see it, and it's because I'm so in my head, and I'm so tired of being in my head. I feel like I'm just constantly always thinking and thinking and thinking, and sometimes I just want to experience. Although scientifically, we can't just not have thoughts. We're gonna think something, but the thoughts that I have, sometimes it gets overwhelming, and I just want to be able to just sit and live and just experience. I'm gonna get some more because I'm almost finished my little drink. I would come to a point where I just wanted to stop feeling, and I get to that point now sometimes when I'm going through something, whether it's with someone and it's like a bad situation or just anything that's a bad experience, I don't want to feel. And so because I don't want to feel, when I was younger, I would block it out with earphones and just other things to keep me distracted. But now as I'm getting older, I'm not gonna lie, I have done substances to get my mind off of certain things, because I feel like I just feel a lot and I think a lot, and it can just get really hard sometimes because other people won't reciprocate and other people won't care as much as you do. And so when you feel alone in that, at times it can just make you not want to feel, because this other person isn't feeling or caring about me, so why does it even matter? At first I wasn't going to talk about it because I don't like people in my business, and some people will look down on you, but I don't care because I'm not perfect and I never said that I was. This is real stuff. Like, some people, they don't want to feel anymore. They don't want to deal with certain emotions, and at times it is a bad habit, but substances can feel safe as well. And I'm trying to stop actually doing that because it's not good at all. Whether it's drinking or whether it's the ganj, it has to go, because at the end of the day, one day you're going to be faced with all the things that you are hiding from, and why not just deal with it now? If you don't deal with it now, that one day is going to come and everything's going to come in front of your face that you were neglecting, and you're not really going to know what to do. So instead of doing things that way, it's best to learn your system of how to deal with things and stop hiding from it. You have to confront things. You have to deal with things. Although you don't want to feel, you have to feel. It's a human emotion. And if you don't want to handle it at that instant when it's happening, what you can do is wait until you're ready. You can pray about it. You can read up on the feelings that you're having, and then you can journal. You can just have a sit down with yourself and figure out the best way for you to deal with the situation. But I'm tired of harming, my body by doing the things I'm not supposed to do and holding myself back. I just want to have a healthy way of living, and I want to learn how to deal with my feelings in a healthy way. And I want you guys to know that if you do steer to substances and other things to keep your mind off of a human thing that's supposed to happen, which is feeling, you have to learn how to deal with it. You can't keep running away, because it will find you again at that finish line, and you're gonna have to deal with it sooner or later. So why not deal with it sooner than later? At the end of the day, the real issue is not about not feeling, because we all do want to feel, but we just don't want to feel the negative parts of life. And the thing is, you can't just choose one. You can't just choose that you only want to have positive feelings and not negative, because they come together. And so you just have to learn how to deal with your emotions in a mature way, and you have to really journal and study yourself so that you know your best way in handling situations, because there are going to be inconveniences. You cannot control the inconveniences in your life. So sometimes you'll just have to deal with things on a mature level, and you'll have to figure out, who are you as a person? How is your best way of dealing with things? Now, you can't control certain instances, but there are certain things that you can control, just like the people that are in your life. There are some people that you allow in your life that cause you inconveniences and negativity, and you can avoid that by just using your discernment. So just try to really focus on using your discernment properly so that you can avoid certain experiences that you do not have to go through. This dissociating reaction was becoming unhealthy. I started to realize that it was making me ignore the fact that it's okay to be vulnerable. At times, I started to feel like, I don't want to cry. I don't want to get angry. I don't want to feel any of these emotions. And so what I'm going to do is block it out. I'm going to figure out something to block my emotions away from this. And the thing is that when you do that, you're not allowing your skills to mature and to grow as a person, because you're not handling your emotions. You're just continuously blocking them out. And then as you grow up in life, you're going to have to learn. And so would you rather be pushed back and learn later, or would you rather just learn how to build skills now emotionally along with the other skills that you're trying to build. Everything is mental, and you'll go throughout life. You're going to have so many things that happen to you, and you're going to have to grow up, and you're going to have to face these things and deal with it in the best way that you can. What I also want to express is that we have to start feeling our feelings sober. You can't keep covering everything up with substances because you're damaging yourself and you're not growing. You're creating this illusion that you're getting past it. But if you don't confront certain things, it'll always stay there until it's time to confront it, because at some point you're going to have to. You can't keep using substances. You have to grow mentally. If you keep neglecting your feelings, you will start to feel empty. You'll start to feel like you're losing yourself. I felt that way, and it's a bad feeling. It feels like you're not here. And I don't know if anybody else gets what I mean, but I was starting to feel like I'm not even on earth. Like I felt like my spirit just kind of left my body and I was just floating. Like, I don't know. I just can't explain it. It was just the fact that I was neglecting my feelings and I was just dissociating so much to the point where I didn't feel like I was me. Like, I just felt like a spirit just floating in my body and I'm just kind of just going with the flow. I didn't feel human, and that's what will happen if you continuously do this unhealthy habit. So the way that I want you to handle uncomfortability in a healthy way is to step back when you're in a situation, and I want you to ask yourself, what is the situation that I'm in, and am I able to leave or am I not able to leave? If you're able to leave, then leave. And if you are not able to leave, then what you should do is figure out the best way that you can handle the situation. You'll only grow from that. The situation will be over and you'll be fine. Now, when I express this, I'm not talking about every situation, because I understand that people go through different situations that are worse than others, and it's not that simple. This is for the situations if your anxiety is going up, just like I was saying, when sometimes I'm in public and I want to put my earphones on, block everyone out, or if I'm in a situation where I'm in an argument and my feelings get hurt, or just something happens and I just feel a negative feeling or anything of that sort to where I want to block out my feelings. This is what that is for. I know that some people may be in situations to where they are being great or being whatever else, and this is not for that, because obviously it's not black and white. I can't just tell you what to do in that situation. This is just for a situation that is more like what I have gone through. Depending on what situation you're going through, dissociating can be sometimes the healthiest option. And, well, that's what I at least feel like. But I do feel like there are instances where it starts to be unhealthy. You just kind of have to balance it. And you can't do it all the time, because it will follow you and it won't feel pleasant. I just want you to know that it's okay to be vulnerable, and whether or not someone reciprocates or not, just be you. Express you. Have the feelings that you are going to have as a person. You'll find other people who will align with the person that you are. But for people who don't reciprocate, I need you to stop damaging yourself and driving yourself crazy because they don't make you feel validated or don't make you feel safe. And so sometimes we'll do these things to give this illusion that we're safe, but we're not really safe. We're just hiding and hiding and hiding. And you will get confronted with what you are supposed to get confronted with in the end. Growing is learning and unlearning, and so it is a hard process. It takes time. There will be things that you learn about yourself that you never even knew that was true about you. And sometimes people will even have to tell you about things and you're like, what are you talking about? But once you sit back, you realize that I do need to work on this. Everyone needs something to work on. No one is perfect. Everyone knows that. And so I want you to know that I'm here for you and this community is here for you. If you have anything you want to say in the comments regarding a situation where you dissociated and noticing that it affects you, or if there's topics that you want to talk about that I have not talked about yet in my videos, let me know. We can chat about it. We are a very encouraging community. I only accept encouraging people. And so, yeah, share your stories, feel free. And I want you guys to feel like this is a safe space where we can all talk and grow together, because there are things that you don't know about yourself until, you know, you have conversations with others. We're very sociable beings, and so we need to be social. And I thank you so much for watching my channel. I hope that you took something from this video. It's been on my mind, and I'll see you in the next one.